Welcome everyone to another JDM racing video. This time it's round 9 in Canada, a track where we've always gone pretty well over the various different iterations of the F1 game in the last couple of seasons. But this particular season we have been looking pretty good at street tracks, so I'm hoping that we can get into Q3 and get a good top 10 finish in qualifying. Maybe even we could spring a surprise, but realistically the Ferraris and the Red Bulls have been extremely fast, so we're going to have to just see how we get on as we cross the line and see if we can get into Q2. So we end up finishing 11th, which is just outside the top 10, and good enough to get us through into Q2. Teammate Piastri does not. Wow, look at that. Pole position, the first of our career, and by 0.01 seconds from Max Verstappen. So a truly great result. Don't know if we're going to be able to replicate that on Sunday, but let's find out.
Hello and welcome to the Ile Notre Dame once again for what promises to be another incredible Canadian Grand Prix at this fiercely competitive circuit, where pole position can often be decided by less than 1/10 of a second. It's a tricky circuit to tackle in wet conditions, with top speed still of critical importance down the long back straight. There are 2.7 miles and 14 corners overall on this circuit that in the dry can see average lap speeds of around 130 miles per hour. We'll be lucky to get anywhere near that today. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Gardner lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Perez, Charles Leclerc and Sainz, Norris, Russell, Ocon and Kevin Magnussen, Ricciardo, Vettel, Valtteri Bottas and Mick Schumacher, Joe, Tsunoda, Alex Albon and Pierre Gasly, Fernando Alonso, they've taken a grid penalty, Stroll, Oscar Piastri and Nicholas Latifi. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Natalie Pinkham. Thanks for joining us, Natalie. And tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, well, they'll be the ones that are better off.
Right then, so this is going to be a extremely difficult race in the wet to try and navigate the Red Bulls, Hamilton, the Ferraris. I'm fully expecting us to drop back in this race. If we don't, that would be a miracle. It would be difficult even in the dry, but in the wet, with the car we've got, we sprung a massive surprise on Saturday. I don't think we're going to be able to replicate this on Sunday, but it is wet. If we can try and keep the car as wide as possible, keep Max Verstappen back, then we might have half a chance. But starts generally are pretty terrible for us, so we're going to have to work and focus very hard as the lights go out to try and get the most out of this pole position. It's going to be hard though. Let's find out. So a clean getaway from the Red Bulls means that Max Verstappen and Perez go through into first and second places by the time that we get down to turn 1. We sit back in third after having a little look down the outside of Perez, but cannot make inroads there and have to just tuck in. So Verstappen leads on the first lap.
A lot of spare energy, okay to use your overtake button. Keep on him, he might make a mistake.
Here's Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin, running a bit further down in the field. And a yellow flag's there, and he's pulling over to the inside of the track. Could be a problem over the curbs, over the grass, and yes, Lance Stroll pulling off. He's out of the race. Is 1.6 seconds.
cars out. We need to reduce your pace. It looks like there's a high amount of debris on the track. Be careful.
Joining on board with Mick Schumacher in the Haas then, and he takes the chicane towards the back end of the circuit and spins it round, and oh no, the AlphaTauri, both AlphaTauris plough into the side of the car. Oh, that's terrible. So here's the onboard shot from it. Gets too much on the wet curb there, on the white line, and then just everybody else just ploughs, knocks the wheel off. Here's Yuki Tsunoda's view on board. So he sees him spin, and then he can't get out of the way. Front left wheel gone. Here's Pierre Gasly behind his teammate. So sees the initial spin, sees his teammate go in there, and then he can't do anything either. Gets taken out as well. Valtteri Bottas was just behind them, and he also sustained some damage and has to pull off at the side of the track. It's carnage around that back end of the circuit.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Here we go then, back with the safety car restart. Max Verstappen leading the race from his teammate still. No change at the front there. But Sainz and Hamilton will be looking to try and steal a march on each other. So Red Bulls, Max defending the lead pretty well, got a decent restart, no problems there.
Past, make use of the overtake button and see what you can do. Nice overtake.
So, a big dive bomb down into the chicane, and we get the move done again. Sainz then having to defend from Lando Norris, going down into turn 1, and they're side by side. Lando Norris on the inside, looks like he's got the line, but then Leclerc just diving back up the inside when it switches back round.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
Here comes Max Verstappen then in the Red Bull on the last lap of the Canadian Grand Prix. He is led from start to finish. His teammate has not been able to make much of an impression on him today, and this will be Max Verstappen's third race win of the season. Max Verstappen wins the Canadian Grand Prix, and that is an extremely great result for Red Bull and the whole of their team.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
They take the checkered flag then here in Canada in what has been another fabulous Grand Prix. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip at the best of times anyway, and that's 10 times worse if you're on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a big advantage today.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team.
So that's 5 race wins now for Red Bull to Ferrari's 3, and they are looking like a formidable prospect going into the mid-season point of this very topsy-turvy season. And Ferrari going to have to go back to the drawing board. Right then, let's unpack this and see exactly where the results have taken everybody. Max Verstappen wins, takes fastest lap as well, gets the extra point for that. Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz rounding out the podium. Lewis Hamilton, strong result for Mercedes, but not the best. He would have wanted to get up for the race win. He's good in Canada. We come home 5th, coming home in front of Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris and Esteban Ocon. That's a pretty good result for Ocon, must be said. Russell and Magnussen 8th, 9th and 10th. They round out the rest of the points. Russell not managing to stay with his teammate on pace. Neither can Ricciardo for the other McLaren. And then 5 cars at the back taken out by the spin of Schumacher in the Haas. And as for the championship standings, Max Verstappen takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship, 2 points in front of Charles Leclerc. And we rise up to 9th place in the standings after that 5th place finish. In terms of the constructors, Ferrari have their lead at the top cut to just 2 points as well. And we stay 7th. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this Canadian Grand Prix, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, thanks for watching.